Now in this next lecture we are going to find the expression of electric potential due to a line charge. So we will have a charge which is distributed linearly. So the charge is distributed uniformly and it is distributed linearly, that is it is distributed on a line, and we are interested to find the electric potential at a particular point P. So this is the observation point, P is the observation point, and let's say lambda is the line charge density and the charge is distributed uniformly. So lambda is the line charge density and this is the observation point, and let's say this is at a perpendicular distance of y. So this observation point, it is at a distance of y from this line charge. So this is the perpendicular distance. Now the point where this perpendicular, it touches this line charge, that is this point. Now this will be considered as the origin of the coordinate system, and this perpendicular axis will be considered as y-axis and this axis will be considered as the x-axis. So along this right hand side direction we will have positive x-axis and along the left hand side direction we will have negative x-axis, and this observation point, it is at a y distance from the line charge, and this is the origin of the coordinate system. So this will be the x-axis, plus x-axis, and this will be the minus x-axis, and this will be the plus y-axis. Now this observation point P, what will be the coordinates of this observation point? So that will be equal to 0, y, 0. So the z axis, the z coordinate is 0, x coordinate is 0, so only there is y coordinate because this point is present on the y axis. So the coordinates will be 0, y, 0, and y is the distance of this point from the line charge. And similarly this line charge, it has one end point over here and the other second end point is over here. Now what are the coordinates of these end points? So this point, let's say it is at a distance of a from the origin. So this point, let's say it is at a distance of a from the origin. So what will be the coordinates? Now you have to keep in mind that this axis is the negative x-axis. So the x coordinate will be minus a. So we are assuming that this end point of the line charge is at a distance of a from the origin. So the coordinates will be minus a, 0, 0. Because this point is present on the x-axis, therefore the other coordinates will be equal to 0, and this end point, let's say it is at a distance of b from the origin. So this point is at a distance of a and this point is at a distance of b from the origin. So what will be the coordinates? They will be b, 0, 0. So this is the positive x-axis, therefore we have b. So we have plus b as the x coordinate of this particular point. Now to find the electric potential at P due to this whole line charge which we have drawn over here. So the main criteria will be, first of all we will take a small length element, we will take a small line element. Let's say we take this line element. We will take a small patch, that is this line element. Let's say this is of thickness dx. We take a line element of length dx. So this particular length, it will also carry some charge because this whole line charge, it has a line charge density lambda. So lambda is the charge present in the unit length. So lambda is defined as the charge present in the unit length. So the charge which will be present in this dx amount of length, that will be equal to lambda into dx. So charge on this element which we have taken, so dx is the small length element which we have taken. So the charge on this element, let's say we represent the charge on this length element as dq. So this will be equal to lambda into dx. So this is the charge which is present on this small length element. So what we will do in this derivation? First of all, we will find the electric potential at P due to this charge, due to this dq amount of charge, and then we will do the integration over x. So we will do the integration of x from minus a to plus b. So x will vary from minus a to plus b. So first of all, we are going to find potential at P due to this particular charge, dq amount of charge, and then we will do the integration over the whole line charge. So that will give us the total potential at P point due to this whole system of line charge. So the charge on this small length element is equal to lambda into dx. So what will be the potential at P due to this charge, that is due to this dq amount of charge? So to find the potential, we must know the distance of the observation point from the particular charge which we are talking about. So we are talking about this particular charge, so we have to find out this distance. So this slanting length must be found out. So we have to find out the distance of this particular charge from the observation point. Now this small length element, it is taken at a distance of x from the origin. So let's say this small length element, it is at a distance of x from the origin. So this is x length and this is y length. Now keep in mind, this y length will be constant throughout the derivation because y is the distance of the observation point from the line charge. So this distance, it will remain constant because it is the perpendicular distance and it will remain the same throughout the derivation. So the only thing that will change is x. So if you take dx over here, the distance from the origin will be different, and if you take dx over here, the distance of this length element from the origin, it will be different. So this x is a variable, whereas this y, it is constant throughout the derivation. So what will be the potential at P due to this small charge? So you have to find out the distance of this observation point from this dq amount of charge, and this distance will be nothing but the hypotenuse of this right angle triangle. So this length base is equal to x and this perpendicular is equal to y. So what will be this hypotenuse? It will be equal to under root of x square plus y square. So x may vary, so x varies from minus a to plus b, whereas y will be constant. So what will be the potential at P point due to this dq amount of charge? So that will be given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into charge which we are talking about, and we are talking about just this dq charge which is present on this small length element. So dq divided by distance of the observation point from this dq charge, and that is nothing but under root of x square plus y square. So this is the expression of potential at P point due to this small amount of charge. And we will insert the expression of dq because dq is equal to lambda into dx. So we will insert this expression, and potential will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into lambda into dx divided by under root of x square plus y square. So this is the final expression of the potential at P point due to this small amount of charge. But we want to find out the potential at P due to this whole line charge. So to find the potential at P due to this whole line charge, we must integrate this term. So we have to find the net potential at P, that is we want to find phi, which is the electric potential, net potential at P. So to find this, we have to integrate over d phi. So d phi was the potential due to this small dq amount of charge. So we have to integrate over d phi. So we will do the integration. So we will do integration of this particular expression. So phi will be equal to integration of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into lambda into dx divided by under root of x square plus y square. So you can take lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught outside the bracket because outside the integral. So we have already said that this line charge is a uniform line charge. So the charges are distributed uniformly, means lambda will be, this lambda, it can be taken outside the integral because this line charge is distributed uniformly. So lambda and 4 pi epsilon naught, they can be taken outside this integral. So you will get lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught into dx divided by under root of x square plus y square and its integration. And over here we have to integrate over x. So inside the integral we have dx, means x is the variable, and what are the limits of x? X varies from minus a to plus b. So what are the limits of x? It varies from minus a to b. So when you are doing the integration, you must write the lower and the upper limit of x in this particular derivation. And over here also you will get minus a to, you must write minus a to plus b. Now the main task will be to find this integration. So first of all we will find this integration and we will insert the result in this particular formula of the potential, and hence we will get the final expression of the potential at P due to this whole line charge. So we are going to find out this integration of dx divided by under root of x square plus y square. So we have to find out integration of dx over under root. So I have just written power 1 by 2 instead of writing under root. So you can write in either way. So x square plus y square power 1 by 2. So we are just going to find out the expression. We are just going to solve this particular integral. So to solve this integral, first of all, we will just suppose x is equal to y into tan theta. So to solve such kind of integral where we have dx divided by x square plus y square power 1 by 2. So we have to put x is equal to y into tan theta. So this is how we find out the integrals. This is how we solve the integrals. So first of all, we will put x is equal to y tan theta. So in this particular integral we need dx as well as we need x square. So from here x square will be equal to y square into tan square theta, and dx will be equal to, so you will do the derivative of this particular equation. So dx will be equal to y. So here we have already said y is a constant, so this will be treated as a constant. So y into secant square theta into d theta. The derivative of tan theta is nothing but secant square theta into d theta. So this is the expression of dx, and this is the expression of x square which we need to put in this integral. So this integral of dx over x square plus y square power 1 by 2, it will become, now dx will be equal to y into secant square theta into d theta divided by x square plus y square. Now what is x square? It is y square tan square theta plus y square, it will remain. This y square it will remain as it is, power 1 by 2. Now from here y square it can be taken outside this bracket. So when you will take y square common, so you have to take into account this power also. So when you will take y square outside, you will get y square power 1 by 2, that will be nothing but equal to y. So that y and this y, it will cancel with they will cancel with each other. So as a result you will get integration of secant square theta into d theta divided by tan square theta plus 1 power 1 by 2. So this y square, when it will be taken outside this bracket, you will just get y, and this y and y it will cancel, and you will be just left with this expression. So tan square theta plus 1, that is nothing but equal to secant square theta. So tan square theta plus 1, this will be equal to secant square theta, and secant square theta power 1 by 2 will be just equal to secant theta. So this expression will be equal to secant square theta d theta, it will remain as it is, divided by secant theta. So this secant theta it will cancel with 1 in the numerator. So that will be equal to integration of secant theta into d theta. Now what is the integration of secant theta? That is equal to natural log of, so you have to remember these particular results, that integration of secant theta d theta, that is equal to natural log of tan theta plus secant theta. So this is the result that we have got of this particular integral. So this integral is equal to this particular result. But in this integration, in this particular integral, we have x as variable, but here we have theta as variable. So now we are going to convert this result in terms of x. So over here in the integration we had x as variable, but in the result we had theta as a variable. So now we are going to convert this tan theta and secant theta in terms of x and y. So from this particular expression you can get tan theta. So from here tan theta will be equal to x divided by y. So this tan theta, it will be equal to x divided by y, and secant theta it can be also found out. So secant square theta is equal to 1 plus tan square theta, that we already know. So 1 plus tan square theta. Now tan square theta is nothing but x square by y square. So that will be equal to x square plus y square whole divided by y square. So from here secant theta will be equal to under root of x square plus y square whole divided by y. So this is the expression. Tan theta is equal to x divided by y and secant theta is equal to under root of x square plus y square divided by y. So inside this bracket we have tan theta plus secant theta. So just we are going to do the summation of these two terms. So x by y plus under root of x square plus y square divided by y. So that will be equal to this natural log, it will be equal to tan theta plus secant theta. So tan theta is x by y and secant theta is under root of x square plus y square whole divided by y. So this is the result of this particular integration. So we found out the result of this integral as this one, and we wanted to find out, in actual what we wanted to find out was potential, and potential was equal to 1 by 4 pi, it was equal to lambda divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into integration of dx divided by x square plus y square power 1 by 2 with the limits of x from minus a to plus b. And here we found out the result of this integration as this one. So here we had not put the limits. So we have not put the limits over here. So we want to find out this integral with this limits of x from minus a to b. So here also we will put the limits over here. So we will get the integration from minus a to b of dx divided by x square plus y square power 1 by 2. So that will be equal to natural log of x by y plus under root of x square plus y square whole divided by y, and we have to put the limits from minus a to b. So when you will evaluate this term, you will put the upper and the lower limits over here. So you will get, so first of all you will put the upper limit of x as equal to b. So here y is a constant and these limits are only for x. So first of all you are going to put the upper limit of x which is equal to b. So that will be equal to b divided by y plus under root of b square plus y square by y. Then minus you will put the lower limit. So the lower limit, in the case of lower limit, so after inserting the lower limit you will get this particular expression. So here you have just inserted the upper limit minus, now you are inserting the lower limit. So you will get natural log of this expression minus natural log of this expression. So here we have natural log of a minus of natural log of, you have natural log of first expression minus natural log of second expression. So you know log of a minus log of b, it can be written as log of a divided by b. So the same principle we will use over here. So here we have natural log of this expression minus natural log of this another expression. So it can be written as natural log of this expression divided by this whole expression. And when you will divide these two expressions, you will see that this y is common in all the terms. So this y, it will cancel with each other. So you will just get natural log of b plus under root of b square plus y square divide by minus a plus under root of a square plus y square. So here you have found out this particular integral. So you have solved this integral, but we want to find the expression of the potential at P due to the whole line charge, and that potential is given by this particular term. So potential at P due to the whole line charge is equal to lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught into this integral which we have just solved. So that will be nothing but natural log of b plus under root of b square plus y square divided by minus a plus under root of a square plus y square. So this is the final expression of the electric potential at P due to the line charge, and P point is present at a perpendicular distance of y from the line charge. Similarly, we are going to find out the electric potential due to a uniformly charged circular ring. And we are going to find out the potential at an observation point which is present on the axis of this circular ring. So we will have a circular ring which is shown over here. So this ring is placed in the YZ plane. So you have to imagine this diagram. So this is a three-dimensional diagram. So this circular ring, it is present in the YZ plane. And the plane of this ring will be perpendicular to the x-axis. So this x-axis will be making an angle of 90 degree with the plane of the ring. And we are interested to find out the electric potential at P point which is present on the axis of the circular ring. So let's say this P point, it is at a distance of x from the origin. So this point, observation point, it will be x, 0, 0. So these are the coordinates of this observation point. Now lambda is the line charge density because the charge is present in the form of a circular ring. So this whole circular ring will be uniformly charged. So this will make up a line charge. So we are assuming the line charge density for this system is equal to lambda. And center of the ring will be the center of the origin of the coordinate system. So center of this ring, it will coincide with the origin of the coordinate system. So now we are going to find out the electric potential at P due to this whole circular ring. So the procedure will be the same as we had done in the previous case. So we will take a small length element. Let's say you take this small length element over here. Now this length element, it will have a certain length. Let's say the length is equal to dl. So dl is the length of this small line element which we have considered. And this small line element, it will have a distance of capital R from the origin. So we are considering that this circular ring has radius is equal to capital R. So radius of this circular ring is equal to capital R. So the distance of any point on the circumference of the ring from the center will be equal to the radius. So this length will be equal to capital R, as well as this length will also be equal to capital R. So this small length element, it is making an angle of d theta at the origin. So this angle which is made by this length element. So I am making the diagram over here again. So let's say this is the small length element dl, and this is the origin of and this is the center of the circular disc. So it is making an angle of d theta with its center. So this angle will be equal to d theta, and this distance is equal to capital R, and this distance is equal to capital R. Now in the polar coordinates, in the subject of mechanics, you have done that we take angle theta from the z-axis. So we take the angle theta from the z-axis. So theta is the angle which is made by this length element with respect to the z-axis. So this angle will be equal to theta. So theta will vary. What will be the limits of theta? Theta will vary from 0. So minimum angle will be equal to 0, and maximum it can be equal to 2 pi. So theta will vary from 0 to 2 pi. So we are going to find out the potential at P due to this small length element. So first of all, we are going to find potential at this observation point due to the charge present in this small length element, and then we will do its integration over the whole length. So first of all, we are going to find d phi, which is the potential at P due to this small length element. Now to find out the potential, we must need the amount of charge which is present. Now what will be the amount of charge present on this length element? Now lambda is the line charge density, which is the charge present in the unit length. So this is the dl amount of length. So what will be the charge? That will be equal to lambda into dl. So this is the amount of charge which is present on this line element which we have supposed. So to find the potential at P point due to this amount of charge, we must know this particular distance. That is, we must know the distance of the observation point from that particular charge which we are considering. So we are just considering this amount of charge which is on the circumference. So we have considered this small amount of charge. So we must need the distance of this charge from the observation point to find the potential. So potential is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So electric potential at P point due to this small line element, that will be given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into charge. Let's say the charge is dq, divide by the distance of this line element from this observation point. So how do we find this particular distance? So as we have said that this ring, it is present in the YZ plane. So this ring, the plane of the ring is present in the YZ plane. So this x-axis, it will make an angle of 90 degree with the plane of the circular ring. So any line which is present, any line which we have drawn on the circular ring. So let's say we have drawn this line over here and we have drawn this line over here. So any line that we draw on the plane of the circular ring, that will be perpendicular to the x-axis because the circular ring is present in the YZ plane. So any line that you draw on the circular ring, that is on the plane of the circular ring, that will be at a 90 degree with the x-axis. So here we have drawn this length. So this length we have drawn on the plane of the circular ring, which is equal to the radius. So this was the radius and this is also the radius. So this length, particular slanting length, it will be the hypotenuse of a triangle. Now this radius, this length which we had drawn, it is making 90 degree with the x-axis. So this length is equal to radius, this particular length is equal to radius and this length is equal to x. This observation point is present at x distance from the center of the circular ring and this length, that is capital R, it will be perpendicular to the x-axis and this is because this circular ring is present in the YZ plane. So this length, it will make 90 degree with this particular x distance. So this will be 90 degree and therefore this slanting length will be the hypotenuse of a triangle. So this perpendicular is equal to capital R and base is equal to x. So what will be the hypotenuse? It will be equal to r square plus x square power 1 by 2. So this is a three-dimensional picture and you have to imagine it a little bit. So this will be the hypotenuse and it will be equal to r square plus x square power 1 by 2, where r is the perpendicular and x is the base of this right angle triangle. So what will be the potential at P point due to this charge present on this small length element? That will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into charge divided by the distance of the observation point from that particular charge, and that we have just evaluated, that is equal to r square plus x square power 1 by 2. So this is the distance of this charge from the observation point. Now we are going to insert the value of dq. So dq is nothing but equal to lambda into dl. So this is the charge which is carried by this line element. So this will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into lambda into dl divided by r square plus x square whole power 1 by 2. Now over here we have assumed that this angle is equal to d theta. This angle which is subtended by this arc. So this was the length element which we had taken, that is dl amount of length, and the angle which is subtended by this length element at the center of this circular ring, that was equal to d theta, because this was taken as the z axis So this was the z-axis that we had taken, and this angle which was made by this length element with the z-axis, it was taken as theta. So this will be the small angle that will be equal to d theta. So what will be this dl length? So we will use the property of the arc of a circle. So from this particular sector of a circle, so dl, we know the d theta, the angle which is subtended by the arc at the center. So d theta is equal to length of the arc, which is equal to dl, divided by the radius of the circle, which is equal to capital R. So this formula we already do in mathematics. So d theta is equal to dl divided by the radius of the circular ring. So from here dl will be equal to r into d theta. So dl will be equal to r into d theta, and we will insert dl over here. So potential at P point due to this small length element will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught lambda into, instead of dl we will write r into d theta divided by r square plus x square whole power 1 by 2. Now keep in mind over here that lambda is constant, capital R, which is the radius of the circular ring, that is constant, 4 pi epsilon naught is constant, capital R, this is constant, and x is the distance of the observation point from the center of the circular ring, and this will always be constant. So only variable in this expression is theta. So here we have d theta. So the variable in this expression is theta, and theta will vary from 0 to 2 pi, because this potential which we have found out, this is the expression of potential at P point due to this small line element. But we want to find electric potential due to the whole circular ring of charge. That is, we want to find the potential due to this whole circular ring. So to find the potential due to this whole circular ring at point P, so we have to do the integration of this particular expression. So total potential at P due to the uniformly circular ring of charge, that will be equal to integration of d phi. And over here we have seen only this d theta is the variable and all other are constant. So they will be taken outside the integration. So you will get 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into capital R divided by r square plus x square power 1 by 2 and integral of d theta. So all terms except d theta, they can be taken outside the integral because all these are constants. And what are the limits of theta? The minimum angle which can be made will be equal to 0 and maximum angle which can be made will be equal to 2 pi, which is nothing but 360 degree. So theta will vary from 0 to 2 pi. Upon solving this integration, you will get 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, and lambda will also be there. So lambda will also be there. So you will get lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught r divided by r square plus x square power 1 by 2 into integration of d theta will be theta, and upon putting these limits, upper and lower limits, you will just get 2 pi. So this is the result of the total potential at P due to this whole circular ring. Now over here we have lambda into 2 pi into capital R. So lambda is the line charge density, it is the charge which is present in the unit length. And when you multiply lambda with 2 pi r, now what is 2 pi into r? It is nothing but the circumference of this circle, that is the total length of this circle. So the circumference of this circle is equal to 2 pi into r, and here we have lambda into 2 pi r. Lambda is the charge present in unit length and 2 pi r is the total length of this circular ring. So when you multiply lambda with the total length, you will get the total charge. So the total charge, let's say on this ring, total amount of charge is equal to capital Q. So the final expression of potential due to the circular ring, it will be equal to, now lambda into 2 pi r, it will be substituted by capital Q, which is the total charge on the circular ring. So 2 pi r is the circumference, or you can say the total length of this circle. So 2 pi r into lambda will give us the total charge on the circular ring. So let's say that is capital Q, and divide by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square plus x square power 1 by 2. So this is the final result of potential at P point which is present on the axis of a circular ring at a distance of x. So this is the final expression of the potential at P point due to this uniformly charged